Okay, so here's the deal. I was in a race and I had an issue with my mount back here on my Armaton pod. It has a little metal U bracket little thing here that comes out the back, and it's metal on these metal mounts. It's got a little set screw on the side, and you lock that in and everything. It always gets loose, it always rattles, and then even on top of that, I've always got some kind of a vibration that runs through the metal, runs through the VTX, and then gives me some kind of maybe distortion of some sort. Maybe not jello completely, but there's always been some sort of small, minute noise, period. So I was at a race and it broke. It finally gave way. The screws were gone. They completely backed out of it, and it was just a complete rattle can. So in order for me to finish the race and have some kind of viewable, signal through my goggles to where I could even see just the finish, I pulled a little emergency trick. As you can see here, by default, I usually do this. I usually put this really super soft foam on the back of my VTX. This is for, even if the back of this is not sitting on the frame, the foam, this super soft foam, seems to just absorb the vibration, period. Whether it's sitting on a surface or if it's just stuck to it, the foam seems to be a much easier place for the vibration to go and dissipate instead of running through the electronics. This is just what I've gathered from my experience with messing with these constant minute little problems. So I've went ahead and I've cut another piece of foam here. This come with some packaging. I think it was lipos or something. So I'm just going to stick it in the back, right in here behind the monster camera here. But what I want to do first, again, I want to reiterate, if you're in the middle of a race and you or your parts are 5 days out and you still need to fly, or you just want to finish a race, whatever. I've done a lot of crashing with this, and I'm pretty impressed on the durability and how long it'll carry you by until you can get your next workup situation. But I'm just going to take a rubber band. I'm going to feed it between the flight controller and the camera, as you can see here. And I'm going to take that little piece of foam. I am now going to install that foam between the camera and the VTX. Just let it sit in there loose, just give it a nice little pad. I've also found that I've run this both ways. I've run it without that extra piece of foam, and I've run it with the piece of foam. I've noticed that it took some vibration out of the camera as well. So this actually, this little fix that I did ended up becoming a bit of a discovery. So I'm going to just take the back of the VTX and go ahead and put her over where she needs to be. Now, you still have this metal piece right here. You see where the constant grinding on the VTX has always been, you know what I mean? I'm going to take care of that as too. This is going to be a complete soft-mounted VTX on the cheap in an emergency situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this end of the rubber band all the way back, and I'm going to latch it onto the SMA connector. Now I'm hooked. The VTX is now strapped to the quad. No bolts, no screws. This is just to get started with it to the point to where I can get my hands free and I can work it, and you know what I mean. Get it the rubber band here fine tuned to the point where, it's definitely going to do its job. So I'm going to go ahead and take the bottom of the VTX. I'm just going to give it a tiny little push up so I can grab some of the tension off the front wrap of the rubber band. Okay, now I can go ahead and screw on, and that would hold that there. This is the first way that I tried it. And what I found was right here where the VTX little cleave here, where it offsets off the thread, where it sits on here, there's still vibration. It's going to go through the VTX right here at the bottom where the SMA threads are. So I'm going to switch this orientation. Now, as you can see, I've now got the rubber band right here between the steel and the SMA connector. That's now a soft mount. I'm just going to do a little bit of messing with it just to get it off the threads here a little bit so I can get my antenna on there. Mount my antenna. So once you've got this right, look really close here. Here's the beans on the weenies here. Look at this. We got the rubber band naturally comes around the side of the VTX, presses up as a firmness onto the side of the wires. Let me see if you're getting a shot here. Right here on the side of these wires here. That's usually, as you can see, this connector's already been broken. Before it's even mounted like this. You know, these connectors are kind of always in our hair. You know, so I just direct solder them now. I don't even mess with them. You know, I feel more confident and more, you know, if something is to happen, that it will be okay there. Over here on this side, it's wrapped around the side of the VTX again. As you can, you know what I mean? It is, if it was to shift, if this thing does take a jolt and it does get slammed against the standoff, then you got another soft mount, you know. And another thing I want to say is we want the flexibility with this. We don't want a super rigid mount, a firm, tough mount. That's how you break right here, you know, when you take a little side impact. You know what I mean? That's where you break these off over here. Then you're down there with the soldering iron trying to put, you know, if it made it, if you still have a center pin, you're trying to solder this back together. But as you'll see here, I'm going to take, and I'm going to hit this hard, okay? You're going to see the flex and the pullback, okay? That is what's going to keep you from snapping this here, and to keep it from maybe bending it where you can get, you know, still get back, you know, to going what you want to do. It is firm. You know, that rubber band is definitely doing its job. Now, next time what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire this up and I'm going to prove it. We're going to fire up the motor. So I'm going to go ahead and fire it up. We are going to see, you know, let's see how much of this vibration from what would look like a goofy mount, an emergency mount. Let's see let's see if it gets me out of trouble. Okay, so there's the monitor. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab the quad. We're going to arm it, and we're going to see how much distortion we get out of this. As you can see, it is pretty darn good for an emergency, guys. This may even be better what you're currently running. It is a 2-cent rubber band. You know, that's pretty substantial. So there you have it, guys. We've actually got it. I believe that is a complete success. You guys tell me. Give me your feedback. Let me know what y'all think. But ladies and gentlemen, a rubber band is a carry. Guys, I have had this rubber band on here for probably 35, 40 hits into gates and stuff. It's even the same rubber band. Hope this was a help for you guys. That's awesome. You guys go ahead and let us know if you have any feedback. What, you know what I mean? Maybe we might even, you know, create something ourselves of some kind of a, you know, more permanent source. But I definitely trust the situation with the Armaton pod on the Arma tank. It is a full cast aluminum, you know what I mean? It is a rigid puppy. Thanks guys for tuning in. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. Pretty soon we're going to have a little bit of a giveaway. There you go. You guys have a good day.
Race Light.